Monty in the Morning, the show Phoenix Magazine readers voted #1 talk radio show in Arizona.
#1 during your morning commute.
#1 whenever news breaks during your day.
And #1 whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is the Monty Show. Hi.
Hello.
It's already Wednesday. By the way, we had a revelation this morning.
What's that?
The 4th of July is a week from Monday.
How?
I said the 4th of July is a week from Monday.
Yeah.
And indeed it is. We've got a big show for you. Stick around. The very latest on Rudy Gobert's trade situation with the Utah Jazz is coming up on the show. We have got to talk about Brooks Koepka and LIV Golf. The PGA Tour made huge changes yesterday. Wait until you hear about that. Jake, who's not a smart man. Can we all just agree? And would you agree that? I mean,
I'm stupid. Like we know that I'm just not very smart here. Like none of like I'm dumb. Right.
You're not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Right. The brightest light bulb. Right.
Jake asked me a question last night that just was mind blowing. It was absolutely amazing to me. The question you asked was mind blowing.
Right.
So we'll have to
We'll get into that. Yeah, for sure.
And another bad day for Elon Musk, which it just seems like Elon Musk continues to have bad days. But hey guys, make sure that you hit subscribe and give us a thumbs up as we jet our way. Now, let me get the very latest numbers on the rocket ship phone machine.
Right, the 13 Pro Max.
Bro, we are at 4,817 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody who listens on the podcast. Thank you for coming over to YouTube. Make sure you find us, The Monty Show, MONTY, themontyshow.com, or just Google search The Monty Show. When we get to 5,000, which means we are just 100 and what is that? I guess that's
I'm not
83.
a math major.
183 subscribers away from giving away a PlayStation 5 on this show. So make sure you check that out. And without further ado, let's hop into the show and ask you a question. Is Ryan Smith doing a good job as the owner of the Jazz? And I know this may seem like, some kind of crazy question, but it was very interesting timing yesterday that Ryan Smith and Dana White, the owner and boss of the UFC, had a press conference together where they both kind of celebrated the fact that the UFC and the #1 fighter in the world are going to do a show in Salt Lake. And Ryan Smith, as you're going to hear in a minute, talked all about how great Utah is, and Utah's no longer one of the best kept secrets in the country, and we're going to sell out and break records. And I guess the question that came to my mind first, Jake, is Ryan Smith focused on the right things?
Yeah, I think that Ryan so when Ryan bought the team, right, what did we hear? We heard that, #1, I want to win championships. That was one of the first things we heard. #2, we heard, I want to really carry the torch as far as the Millers legacy is concerned. Like, that's really important to Ryan Smith. And I think as, he's now owned the team for just over 2 years. And during that time, I think that the messaging has shifted a little bit. And I want to really make sure that, the listeners out there, the people listening now are on the same page with me, that this is not a conversation about, that Ryan Smith is a bad owner or he's somehow done horrible things, because he hasn't. That's not the conversation we're having. What I look at here in this whole situation that's played out over the last 6 weeks is a really interesting time for the organization. Ryan Smith, to me, when he came into the organization, talked about championships and basketball and the Millers, and we got to make sure the Utah Jazz are in a great spot. But now I feel like Ryan Smith, as the Utah Jazz owner, has shifted his focus. And the way that's happened is he brought in Danny Ainge. He essentially gave him the keys to the basketball car. And now Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, is solely focused on making money for the organization through things like UFC partnerships or other events. Now, I totally respect the fact that's a big deal for any stadium, whether we're talking, the Utah Jazz or the Utah Grizzlies or the Salt Lake Bees or RSL, whoever. It's always important to use your venue for more than just the one sport that plays there. But my big thing here is that I don't love the fact that Ryan, it seems like, has kind of just stepped away from the basketball side and said, Danny, take care of all that for me. I'll jump in, when you get down to like the last 2 head coaching candidates or when any kind of major decision needs to be made. But other than that, I'm going to focus on all this other stuff. I don't particularly love that, mainly because I want Ryan Smith to be plugged in to the processes that take place, to how hard it is to find a head coach, to how hard it is to build a championship contender. This isn't something where you can, just create this overnight. That's not how this works. It takes time. So it just, for me personally, it just is a little bit concerning to me that I feel like the sentiment has kind of shifted a bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. I don't know. I feel like when we look at the Utah Jazz, and I think we talk about, what Ryan Smith is doing, the thing that very clearly comes to my mind is that, I feel like you're saying that Ryan Smith is prioritizing. Is it right to say he's prioritizing money over winning? Prioritizing making money, making this a business operation instead of a winning basketball organization.
Yeah, like I think that's a fair way to characterize it. And again, I want to be really careful and I want to be really intentional about saying, like, I don't think that Ryan Smith is doing some bad job. But what I was, I guess more, the way I want to say it is what I was really excited about with Ryan Smith is that I felt like we had an owner for the Utah Jazz who was going to come in here and solely focus on basketball for the first couple of seasons. And yeah, obviously, business and all that stuff has to happen. Like that, just being an owner of any professional sports team, that's a requirement.
Right.
But like, there's a difference when you're a basketball guy or someone who's focused on the game doing, business versus a businessman that just has to basketball as part of the gig. And I feel like lately that's kind of been the sentiment. Like whether we're talking about the execution of the jersey rollout and sort of how they went about that, or the design of the jerseys themselves. I don't believe that anybody who was a Jazz fan growing up as a kid, as Ryan Smith is, saw these jerseys and was like, yeah, this represents our team. This represents the heritage of the team, right? Because the purple wasn't being rolled out initially with the new jerseys, the highlighter yellow jerseys. The purple was an insurance policy after they realized they had made a mistake. And so that's why I say, like, I'm not sitting here saying that, we need to go back to are the jerseys good or not. But when you start to look at some of these events playing out and how they're going about things, to me, it just sort of sends the message that, hey, we're a little more concerned right now about making money and just saying we rebranded the team rather than rebranding it the right way and putting a ton of effort into getting the community involved and bolstering the Utah Jazz brand.
Yeah, and I think that, obviously, and maybe it's not obvious, I don't know, but I think Ryan Smith is in business to make money. But I think he came in here with a lot of bluster. I think he came in here with a lot of momentum. And I want to play the sound from the press conference yesterday in case you missed it, because I think these are important bits of history. Because I do think everything that Ryan Smith and the Utah Jazz are doing right now is creating history. And I do think when you hear him talk about the UFC and you hear him talk about the Jazz in Vivint Arena and the UFC, I think it's interesting to hear him talk about how the state of Utah on the whole and really the Salt Lake metropolis has evolved, changed, and grown.
Something's changed where Salt Lake is not a flyover city and Utah is not a flyover state. And I think that's manifesting through concert tours. It's manifesting through events like this, and it's becoming a destination. People want to get out. They want to have experiences, and we're providing that. I mean, whether it's basketball, whether it's concerts, whether it's UFC, I think people want to have a moment and have a moment together, whatever that is.
Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, at a press conference with Dana White yesterday, but he also said something I also thought was really interesting, is that he's guaranteeing, he is promising record-breaking ticket sales and revenue on this event.
I think it's just the beginning of what we see for Utah and Utah sports. I think that this is a big, statement from the UFC, not only the fight, but pay-per-view. I promise it'll sell out. Like, we'll break the records. And I think that it's just the beginning. And I think that it shows you the growth in Utah and everything that everyone's been working for so long.
Hey, no pressure, Jazz fans and fight
Might
fans
wanna show up.
and sports fans.
You know.
You might want to start buying pay-per-views and tickets when they go on sale.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was interesting that he talked about, and one of the things that happened yesterday, and I want to make sure that people understand this. The media was at this press conference. Obviously, it's a press conference. That's their job. But the media had not one but two opportunities to ask Ryan Smith about Jazz issues, trading Rudy Gobert, like all of these important topics. And I really felt like that was a missed opportunity yesterday. But we did get this nugget from Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, about the new jerseys.
I also believe that we also want to get a cleaner, simplified look with how much Nike's bringing to us and like have a unified color scheme that we can work with throughout the state. And that's really exciting, both in the arena and outside the arena. I think the data has shown quickly that like purple was the number one purchase item online as this happened. And then when people got into the store, it was a black and yellow, which is kind of interesting is when you see it in person. So I think I would just ask that, look, it's an evolution. Brand's going to evolve. There's probably a fair argument that we went a little too clean.
Yeah. Yeah. You think that's an argument? You went a little too clean?
Yeah. And so what
you could.
Is, what I hear out of those three sound bites from Ryan Smith is I hear a lot of data, analytics. Hey, we're going to sell the stadium out. Like I hear somebody whose mind is driven by numbers and data and doing math. And again, not a criticism. I want to be really clear on this because I don't want to hear comments about how, you guys just don't like Ryan Smith. I do like Ryan a lot. I love that he's a young owner in the game. I love his energy. I love what he's trying to do here. And by the way, I think from a money-making perspective, I have a ton of respect for what he's done in his life and the way he went about it. If you don't know his life story, go and look into it. It's crazy. But the point is, as far as the Utah Jazz organization is concerned, my concern right now is that I'm hearing, A plus B equals C, which means the lining of my pocket's going to look really good here pretty soon. And what I want to hear is A plus B equals, hey, we're involved in the community. We rolled out a really nice jersey that makes sense for the organization. I don't want to hear excuses about how, we did a crappy rollout of our jerseys, but don't worry about it. I would ask for your patience because the jerseys evolve over time. I don't want to hear that, Ryan. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear like we executed well, like it's a good design.
But I think some of that is fair and unfair, right? I mean, obviously the buck stops at Ryan Smith. He's the owner of the Utah Jazz, but he's doing what he thinks is best for the organization. And I also thought yesterday he talked a lot about the fact that he's being a hands-off owner right now when it comes to basketball operations. Yeah. That, like with the coaching change, they're going to bring him a name that they want to hire, and he's going to talk to that guy and make a decision. That he is only occasionally involved in the draft process. I'm a little surprised to hear that. I really thought that Ryan Smith would come in here and prioritize winning a championship. I thought that's what he would do. Now, maybe he's done that by hiring Danny Ainge. Maybe he's done that by changing the coach. Maybe he's going to do that by empowering the people that do basketball operations for him. Maybe all that's true. I want more from Ryan Smith. And I'm not saying that Ryan Smith has done a bad job necessarily, right? Because I don't think
we don't have time to get into the, origin of Ryan Smith. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Ryan Smith is somebody who is a go-getter, is somebody who is going to get after. But I think when you buy a new sports team, when you become the owner of the Utah Jazz, right? Like there's a learning process that takes place with that. And I think that we're seeing that. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because I don't want Ryan Smith as the owner of the Utah Jazz to become somebody who's not focused on basketball anymore and thinks that just handing the keys to Danny Ainge is going to win him a championship.
Bro, that's a heavy statement.
I know it's a heavy statement to make. I get it. But tell me, and I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to be the guy who, hey, you just hate on Ryan Smith. Okay, I guess I'm that guy. But tell me, through his actions so far, what message is he sending to the Utah Jazz fan base? That's what I'm concerned about. I'm not sitting here saying the guy doesn't want to win championships. He definitely does.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying he doesn't care about the legacy of the Millers. He 1000% does. But what I am saying is Ryan Smith has never done this before. I don't think Ryan Smith, as an owner of a club, knows exactly what that path looks like. And again, does that sound harsh? Yeah, it does. But I don't, just the same way, when in life, when you go to learn something, you don't know how to do it the first time. So maybe you miss something here or there and that holds you back. I think we're seeing that on some level. Like, again, the jersey thing is a good example, but I also think what he said in the presser yesterday is a perfectly fine example. I didn't hear a lot about how, hey, like we're trying to, get into the community, right? Because that's what I think he's got an opportunity to do. As a new owner, I feel like you have this huge opportunity to step into the community and say, hey, this is who we're going to be now. And what I feel like he's doing is making a lot of money through things like the UFC and a lot of other things. And then the jersey stuff kind of gets sacrificed a little bit. We get, not that he was the one who drew up the jersey, but ultimately I think we can agree he's the one who approved it. He's the one that said, yeah, we're going to go ahead and move forward with these. And so that's why I say just through his actions, I think it just is a little concerning to me. That's how it makes me feel. But maybe I'm wrong for that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think this whole thing is, a work in progress. And I think it's a very difficult question to answer of, is Ryan Smith doing a good job? You know what? I think that's a big question. That's a big one. What's up to some of our commenters this morning? Utah Jazz fan from India says, good morning. Mitchell's led team will fail miserably. Okay, cool. Funky Orient says, good day, more power to your show. Neville93, hey, good morning, brothers. I heard the Jazz want to trade Royce O'Buckets for a first-round pick.
Royce O'Buckets.
I seriously doubt anybody is going to give you a first-round pick for Buckets O'Bench. What do you call Buckets
O'Bench? Yeah, Royce Buckets O'Bench.
Okay, good. Alex Chacon says, tomorrow's draft day, Rudy trade incoming? Maybe, and absolutely we should talk about the very latest on Rudy Gobert, because I think this is the story in Jazz country right now. And I can tell you, talking to people very close to Rudy yesterday, one thing that I think has bothered Rudy Gobert so much is the rumor mill, is the rumor mongering. I was told unequivocally, not now and not at any time has Rudy Gobert demanded a trade. He is not asked to be traded. Rudy Gobert, I was also told, enjoys being in Salt Lake City. He likes living here. He likes playing for the Jazz, but he's got some frustrations, as we've reported throughout the year. But he is not asked to be traded. However, Rudy Gobert is well aware that the Utah Jazz are trying to move him, and he is well aware of the rumors that he may be going to the Chicago Bulls. And I think Rudy Gobert would be okay with that, because as we reported back when the season ended, Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz had conversations and have had an ongoing dialogue where Rudy has said, hey, I'm good with this. I understand it's a business. I understand that you may have to trade me. And I'm okay with that, because he'd be open to a fresh scenery, and I'm told that is still the case. Now, as far as a trade goes, there really was not a whole lot of news yesterday. The Chicago Bulls are still in a position where they have to go out and acquire more draft capital to make a trade with the Utah Jazz. And I don't think there's any doubt the Chicago Bulls want to trade for Rudy Gobert. The question remains, what can they acquire before tomorrow's NBA draft to make that trade a reality? Because the truth is, this is going to be a difficult trade to make, as it should be. Mm-hmm. This is a foundational move. This is a transformative move not just for the Utah Jazz, but also for the Chicago Bulls. Because I think you have to remember, Rudy Gobert is one hell of a player. This is the premier defensive player in the NBA right now. He's a rim protector.
Right.
Obviously, he's great in the paint. It is not his fault that he was asked to play outside of that skill set. But I think there was a level of exposure that made a lot of teams uncomfortable. That and the fact that he's making $41 million a year on average. The biggest issue is, for the Bulls, what's the value proposition in acquiring Rudy Gobert? It's $41 million a year. That's not the easiest trade to make, by the way, as we're finding out. It's a $50 million deal that probably needs 3 teams to happen. But the Bulls are out in the marketplace trying to acquire draft capital, because I think the minimum bar for the Jazz is going to be Vucevic, Pat Williams, and at least a first-round pick. The question in my mind still remains, will the Utah Jazz pull the trigger on this deal without Patrick Williams? And Jake, I would be one of the guys saying, I don't think you should do that.
Yeah, I think it's a risk. I think that executing this deal without Williams is absolutely a risk, and I think it's mainly a risk because the pick you're going to get out of the Bulls is not one that's going to be super high in they're not a top 5 pick. You know what I mean? They're not like this guaranteed, I'm going to get a contributor right now pick. And that's why I think that Williams has to be in that deal. But again, as I've said so many times over the course of the last month or so, I think that the tough part about this whole thing, once again, is that the Jazz just are not in a position to be dictating to these teams. At the end of the day, the Bulls could hold out and not do the Rudy deal until, the season gets closer or whatever, and basically hold the Jazz over a barrel. If I'm them, that's what I'm doing. If I'm any team doing business with the Utah Jazz, I'm sweating them out. Why wouldn't you? Because you know that they don't have the leverage. So that's why I say, with all due respect to Danny Ainge and who Rudy Gobert is as a player, I think because of the financials of the Utah Jazz and because they don't have a lot of draft capital, that's the situation they find themselves in. And that's the hard part.
And part of this is you made your bet and now you're lying in it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being truly honest, the Utah Jazz made a difficult decision. It was Ryan Smith's his first big decision. Are you going to approve a massive contract extension for Rudy Gobert? Well, and what do we know now? They did do that. And I think now you are unwinding some of that. And I think part of this goes back to Ryan Smith. Is he doing a good job? Okay, I think that's yet to be determined. Mm-hmm. But he is writing the early days of his legacy here. And making this Rudy Gobert trade, I don't think it's optional. I think it's a must. I think if you are going to keep Rudy Gobert on your books, I think you're asking to be limited. Because with Rudy Gobert on this roster, you have so little financial flexibility. And you need, and I don't mean to be theatrical, but you desperately need roster flexibility right
Facts.
now. You need, and unfortunately, I think it is facts. I think you need to go out and you need to add athletic wings here. That's the thing that is so clearly, plaguing the Utah Jazz when you look at, and not just Dallas. I don't want to focus just on the playoffs. I look at how last season went. I look at the losing streaks. I look at what this team was without Rudy Gobert. I look at what this team was with Rudy Gobert. Look at the adjustments Quinn made in the Dallas series, late in the series, albeit. Mm-hmm. But the adjustments he made to get Rudy off the floor, I thought that worked very well. Eric Pascal gave you 5 minutes of glory, right? Wouldn't we all love as men?
All gas, anyway, no break.
Anyway, moving on. The point is, you look at Rudy Gobert out of the paint on offense in the corner to create more space in the paint. I think that's what a guy like a Patrick Williams, instead of Rudy Gobert, that's what he brings you. And whatever you turn Mike Conley into, whatever you turn Bojan Bogdanovic into, these things have to happen. And it's painful. It's not fun. But Ryan Smith made his bed here. And I think it's critical that as the owner of the Jazz, that you make tough decisions.
Now, how much do you hold him accountable for the Rudy contract? Because I think this is an important thing for Ryan Smith. And I think being fair to Ryan, what I'm going to say here is that, you had just bought the team. With all due respect, things were in motion that you had zero control of. But at the same time, I think, anybody who's gotten to Ryan Smith's level of financial freedom knows that it is a very black and white, thing. It's very much like, hey, you either did or you didn't type situation. And unfortunately, at that time, he did approve the Rudy Gobert contract. And so I wonder, how does he feel about that now? Like, if you're Ryan Smith sitting here now, as the owner of the Utah Jazz, you've got this awesome UFC partnership coming in, which, by the way, I have to say, amazing partnership from a business perspective. They probably will sell out the Viv. It probably will be a smashing success. So that's a great thing that he did. But if you're Ryan Smith sitting here and you're looking at the basketball team and the product you're going to put on the floor, is there not some reservation about the situation you find yourself in as it pertains to Rudy Gobert's contract? Is there not some reservation about the fact that you're not in this year's draft? Like, if you're Danny Ainge, what are you prioritizing? Right? Do you see the conundrum? Like, on one hand, you're not in the draft, but on the other hand, you have to make this deal so you can start retooling the roster to make sure that you can contend for the postseason. That's what I think is so challenging right now. It's just a very interesting time for this organization.
Yeah, and I just don't think, by the way, I don't think it's easy to make that call. I think this is a very tough call, but to me, it was a no-brainer. To answer your question directly, I thought it was a no-brainer when Ryan bought the team that he was going to rubber stamp that Rudy contract.
And that's what I'm saying. He shouldn't be vilified for that at all. Like, I think when you bought a team that was in motion, Rudy obviously is one of the best players on the team. Like, you were going to do that. But I just think now I got to think there's some frustration.
Oh, I mean, certainly I think there's frustration. I don't have any doubt about that. And I also don't have any doubt that Rudy Gobert is going to get traded here. I think that when you look at what this trade means, Danny Ainge is well aware that this deal has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply a matter of when this deal is going to happen. So, I mean, and I know we talk about this, I feel like every day this week, but I just don't see you making a deal without Patrick Williams and a first-round pick. Both of those things. But, I mean, the Bulls are going to have to give. Somebody in this situation is going to blink.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is any doubt about that. So I'll ask everybody watching right now, and I'll ask you, I mean, what is the minimum bar for you in a trade with the Bulls?
Yeah, I mean, I think the minimum bar with the Bulls specifically would be Patrick Williams in a first-round pick. But the problem is financials dictate that Vuce has to be part of that deal.
Yes.
To make it physically possible.
But what do you have to have, though? I mean, Vucevic
I have to have Patrick Williams. I'm not so concerned about the draft, to be perfectly honest with you. When I'm making these deals right now, I'd be more worried about draft picks with Conley and Bogey. With the Gobert deal, what I'm concerned about is obviously getting the deal done, but I got to have key contributor guys coming back.
But if you get that pick, and you're able to flip that pick that you would get a first-round pick in this Thursday's draft.
Yeah.
You're able to flip that pick. That's why I think today's a critical day. And today and like noon Mountain Time tomorrow, really, I think is the window to make a Rudy Gobert trade. And I think you got to do that. I think it's critically important. It is really important. Brandon Whiteside says, Vucevic is a nobody. We need a good player. I wouldn't say he's a nobody.
I think there's a definite downgrade from Rudy to Vucevic. I think that's fair to say.
I would agree with that.
I think that's fair to say. But to say he's a nobody is harsh. And by the way, I know that was Brandon Whiteside. Like, with all due respect, not hating on you, but you tend to hate on the Bulls. So I just think it's, I'm not surprised to hear you say that, I guess.
BB says Williams is a must and pick or just keep him. I think you have, for my money, when you're the Utah Jazz and you have this little draft capital, I think you have to have a draft pick in there.
Yeah.
I think you need just to leverage that. Asler says, definitely Vooch, send to a third team and get Pat Will or Caruso /Ball, at least a first rounder, and involve Royce with Gobert. I think Royce O'Neal is a really interesting trade chip because he's making, $8 million or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's got a very affordable contract. And he has value around the league. Royce O'Neal is a guy that is well thought of in this league. So I feel like he's a guy that you can include in a trade. And by the way, I don't remember it last year, and maybe Jake, you do, but Royce O'Neal is busting his ass this summer already. Like, watching what he's doing, and I say already, we're damn near at the 4th of July. But
it's crazy, man.
I see what Royce O'Neal is doing. I follow him on social. I follow David Alexander, the renowned body guy. Donovan Mitchell and Royce O'Neal are working with David Alexander. Now, Don's been with David for years. I don't remember Royce O'Neal being a David Alexander client.
Well, and I think there's some sentiment around the club that obviously change is coming. I mean, these guys know what's happening, and I think that Royce isn't the only one you're seeing doing this whole I'm working my ass off thing this summer. I mean, obviously, last week we told you, hey, Don is, went on that trip with David Alexander. Now it's Royce. And then we also saw that Rudy posted a bunch of stuff on his Instagram about how he was working out. And so I just think that part of that is basketball culture. Like, you'll see LeBron every summer post about it, or the top guys will always post about that. But I think when you're, Royce O'Neal, you understand that, hey, yeah, I mean, there's for the first time in 5 years, probably this summer, I could get moved, and I damn well better be ready for that, because if I go to my next team and I'm not in the tip top best shape I can be in, and everything is great and I'm fully healthy, that's going to be a problem for me. I have to be able to operate.
Yeah. Ewan George says, do you think the Bulls trade their 18th pick to get multiple picks and then flip that for Rudy? I know. I mean, from what NBA sources are telling me, that's exactly what the Bulls are trying to do. They're trying to take their first round pick and flip that into multiple picks to get those picks to trade to the Utah Jazz for Rudy Gobert. I mean, I think that's the minimum bar for me. I think you have to go and do that. Brandon Whiteside says Vucevic was amazing when he was a star for the Magic, keeping them in the lotto. Well, obviously, if you go back, if you knew that Magic team, they had foundational issues. I mean, that's why they blew that team up. Aaron Gordon, Vucevic. I mean, they undid that team. Here's the truth about Nikola Vucevic, and there really is no way to get around this. I mean, when you're looking at Nikola Vucevic, it is very clear to me he's a limited player. He is a lovely shooter. He has a lot of ability offensively, but he is the 180-degree turn away from Rudy Gobert. He is not at all a defensive player. Nikola Vucevic is not a force in the paint. He is not a rim protector. He is better defending the pick and roll, but nobody is scared of Nikola Vucevic in the paint. So he's got value. There is no doubt. He is an incredibly skilled big man. I think if he is your number one big man, you're an average, mediocre team. I think if Nikola Vucevic is your 1A, 1B, like Hassan Whiteside, it would be a nice match for him. Like, however you want to pair him with another big. Yeah, that's great. Nikola Vucevic has one highest best use. Bucket the basketball. That's what the guy does. He puts the ball in the hole. Other than that, he's not great. Would he be a good fit with the Jazz? Yeah, I think he'd be a really nice pick and pop, alternative with Donovan Mitchell. I think he would be a really nice screen role player. You're not going to lob him the ball. You're not going to do much besides drop him the ball. And then he has a really nice hezzy and head fake from three because he can shoot it. He's got a really nice mid-range game, and he has really soft touch around the rim. That's it. Yeah. That's what the guy does. Now, having said that, I don't know. Would you rather have that skill set, or would you rather have Rudy's skill set?
Well, I think,
I don't know.
So I think for the Bulls, they'd rather have Rudy's skill set. And the only reason I say that is because they're in a position where they've got a ton of scoring. You've got multiple all-stars on this team. You've got guys that can get buckets with the best of them on this team. Like, I don't think that you need more offense out of your big. The Bulls specifically need more defense. That was their problem. So when I look at them, that's why they want Rudy. Rudy's skill set fits perfectly. And that's why I say the Rudy Gobert conversation has always been not that he's a terrible player. He's a phenomenal player. But he's got to be in the right situation that puts those skills on display. In the Jazz system with Quinn and with the current roster and what they were kind of working, that just was not at play for Rudy there.
Yeah, Jeremy Bolton says, is there actually a chance Alex Caruso comes to Utah? There is.
Well, would you buy his jersey, though? Because, I mean, I know how you feel about him.
Look, JB, can you imagine yourself wearing that highlighter yellow jersey with Alex Caruso's name and number on it? Oh,
yeah.
Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas. Good to see you, Jeremy. Always appreciate you being here. I do think they're going to have to stack that trade from the Chicago end to make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's no doubt about that. Alex Chacon says Vooch would be an absolutely fine as a third or fourth option offensively. Absolutely, he would be fine. Funky Orient says, just thinking, can Utah play as a small team? Well, I also think Vucevic plays smaller than his size. But what are you going to get out of Rudy Gay? You got to remember, Rudy Gay's under contract to this team right now. And I think there's a big conversation around what you get out of Rudy Gay right now.
Yeah.
I don't know is the answer. I don't know how bought in he is. I know that there is some rumbling that he was one of the guys in the room that was happy to see Quinn Snyder gone. By the way, sources close to Rudy Gobert told me yesterday that he was not one way or the other on Quinn Snyder. They had a fine relationship, but Rudy absolutely was on board with Quinn stepping away and getting a new voice in the room, which I think, honestly, and I do a lot of work behind the scenes to talk to Jazz players, their people.
Right.
And there's a lot of people in that Jazz locker room that were not unhappy to see Quinn step away. And it's not that in any way, shape, or form, and I want to make sure that we all understand this. It's not that Jazz players were unhappy with Quinn Snyder, because they were not. They were not. And I think the issue is very easy to say that I think it was time for a new voice in that room. And we talk about this a lot. And I think Quinn Snyder is one of the elite head coaches in this league. But he's been here almost a decade. And I think he's had this same group of players. And I think when you make the mistake that the Utah Jazz made, which was very clearly not changing this roster often enough. And what the best teams do is they keep Steph and Clay and Dre together, and they build around those guys.
Yeah.
The Jazz never did that. They didn't keep Don, Rudy, and Bogey together and build around those guys. They simply kept Don, Rudy, Bogey, Conley, Royce. Like, you didn't upgrade. And then I think we all saw this start to come apart when Jingles tore his knee ligament.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing that
ACL.
started the downhill effect, it felt like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's exactly where the downhill spiral started.
And, obviously we know that Jingles was obviously a big contributor in the locker room. And I think that it's just unfortunate. Like, this is what I mean. I think, with the Ryan Smith angle and with where the organization is, the way the postseason sort of ended for this team, in the way, like, Jingles getting hurt, then the postseason happening, then the jersey thing. Like, it's just going to be really interesting to see how remaking this team changes the momentum of the organization when it does actually happen.
Yeah, interesting. Sean Carden says Vucevic, Ball, Caruso would be acceptable. But again, don't you have Lonzo Ball's knee and Mike Conley's hamstrings? Right?
What good is it if he's not playing?
Your best ability
is your availability, bro.
And Lonzo Ball is always hurt.
Yeah.
And I think one of the main issues is that Lonzo's just not available to you. And if you look at what plagued the Bulls this year, it was absolutely injuries. And Lonzo Ball was a guy that was injured most of the year. And you look at this, the Chicago Bulls' fortunes were tied to two things. Their Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball's injuries and their inability to defend the paint.
Yeah.
And I think what you're seeing is they're going directly at addressing those issues. And that's why I say, like, Royce O'Neal and Rudy Gobert for Vucevic, Caruso, Vucevic, Pat Williams in a first-round pick, Vucevic, Caruso, Pat Williams in a first-round pick, like something in that vein. I mean, if Alex Caruso is on this team next year, you're in much better shape defensively than you were at any point in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You're a better defensive team. But Patrick Williams is what allows you to trade Rudy Gobert. Because if you're going to trade Rudy Gobert and you're thinking that Nikola Vucevic is going to be the guy that's going to come in here and replace him, I got news for you, man. That's not going to work. Because Nikola Vucevic is not a good defender. He is not. And the bigger issue to me is that Vucevic is a guy that has a value. My question is, and I think he does Danny Ainge understand what Nikola Vucevic's value to the Utah Jazz is? Because if he does, you're not going to make this deal without Pat Williams.
Yeah.
Very clearly, you're not going to make this
deal. What
deal.
happens if they do make the deal without Pat Williams? I mean, and this is a question I would pose to everyone commenting and listening. I mean, if they make this deal without Pat Williams and it's like Vuce, let's say Caruso and like a first-round pick, would you be upset with that? Would that be acceptable? Like, I agree with you. I think Williams has to be in the deal. Like, I'm not comfortable making it without Williams.
Well, one round left makes a really good point. With Vuce and Whiteside, we'd punish a lot of teams in the post with the proper coaching philosophy.
I don't disagree.
It's interesting when you look at what Hassan Whiteside was to this club last year. And I think one of the biggest questions is, do you trust Hassan Whiteside?
Mm-hmm.
I want to trust Hassan Whiteside.
But
I want to believe in Hassan Whiteside. But I don't. Because I saw too many times where Hassan Whiteside was happy to flex on bros, but also wasn't happy to run hard. I saw a lot of times where Hassan Whiteside was happy to foul a guy and bitch about the call and then didn't run hard because he was bitching about the call. If Hassan Whiteside is in control of himself and he is a mercurial, emotional disaster, if that guy can be tamed, 1 round left, I don't disagree with you. I think Vucevic and Hassan Whiteside, I'd probably start Vuce in that situation. I would want Hassan Whiteside to be a 15, 20-minute guy. But the other guy you got to remember is Azubuike's still on this roster. And there are other bigs out there. If you had a Claxton.
Claxton with Don, Jesus.
If you had that type of player, I think this is a different conversation.
But I think the other thing I like about Vuce is it does open up space for Donovan Mitchell. And I'm telling you, this guy was suffocated by this roster in Quinn's system. And again,
yes, he was.
Not to say that Quinn's system was 100% responsible for their performance on the floor and sort of how things played out. But when you take Quinn's system, you combine that with what I would say is mediocre talent by NBA standards today, and you're then going to ask Don to be the guy at 6'1" or whatever he is. That's a big, tough ask, dude. Like, that's almost impossible for, most players. I don't think that, that's why I think that guys like LeBron and KD, the best guys in the league, that's why they're so special, because they can overcome certain things. Kevin Durant damn near took the Brooklyn Nets to the NBA Finals on his own, right? Like him and a bunch of other guys just being in the right spot on the floor to give Kevin Durant space. That was their formula to get as far as they did. So that's what I'm saying. What is Donovan Mitchell with a big in Vucevic who can really shoot the three, and a couple other guys on the wing like a Pat Williams who the defense has to respect? What does that look like? Because I think it looks great. I personally think that Donovan Mitchell would be an absolute savage if he had space to operate in. But that's what I think you have to create for him.
Yeah, and I'm curious, and I don't know, I don't know. I think this is a lot of conjecture and opinion, frankly, and I want to make sure people understand. The very latest details that we have on Rudy Gobert is that the Chicago Bulls are out in the marketplace trying to make a deal to acquire draft picks. They are out there trying to make a deal to acquire more picks to flip to Rudy Gobert. And there has not been a lot of movement on that yesterday. And I talked to a lot of people yesterday, agents. I talked to a lot of people close to Rudy Gobert. Interestingly enough, I talked directly to Rudy Gobert's agent yesterday, who told me that Rudy has at no point demanded a trade from the Utah Jazz. Not now, not previously. And there is no plan in place currently for him to demand a trade. By the way, one of the more interesting comments that I got from a source close to Rudy Gobert yesterday was he was furious with that comment that came out where he was demanding it be him or Don. That was called trash, and I was told unequivocally that never happened, and there was nothing even close to that talked about.
Congratulations. But that's bullshit.
I was told directly yesterday that Rudy Gobert has never demanded a trade, and he has never gotten anywhere near saying it's him or me in reference to Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. So, you know what? You start to hear this stuff, Jake, and, it is not a wonderment to me that Rudy Gobert is being talked about. I mean,
well, what else is there to talk about? And this is what I always get back to.
And people get upset with that. I think this is a really interesting
What else
point.
do you want to talk about with the Jazz? What else is there? Because right now, at this time of the year, physically on the calendar with where the season's at, this is the time of year when deals get done, as we've been telling you since December, bro. Like this is, and trust me when I say we would love to come with a fresh, new, shiny car of a Jazz take every day. We would love that. But the truth is, what do we have right now? We've got UFC partnerships, New Jerseys, and Rudy Gobert's $41 million contract. That's what we have. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I think that again, the narrative and the conversation is going to change once the Rudy deal happens. Because once that happens, it's literally like the best comparison is floodgates. Once Rudy gets traded, Open those damn floodgates up, because now it's time to get to work on a serious level. Like, now it's time to talk about moving Mike. Now it's time to talk about moving Bogey. Yeah. And the problem is I'd have loved to have seen the Gobert. In my opinion, I would have loved to have seen the Gobert deal happen already. So then Conley could be a draft night deal to get you back into the draft. That's what I would have loved to have seen, but I understand why this negotiation with the Bulls has taken so long, because they are stubborn, no doubt.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And Danny Ainge, I hope, is being stubborn. I hope Danny Ainge is driving a very difficult bargain.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Alex Chacon says, Rudy will always be beloved as a Jazz man, but I have no idea how you keep him after all this. I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I really don't think
and
you
there's
can,
a lot of that going around, which really surprises me. Like, I see it almost on a daily basis right now. Like, hey, you can still bring Tony back, or I'm sorry, you can still bring Rudy back. No, you can't. We're past that. We're moving on from that.
Yeah, a lot of people, including Austin Lewis, are asking about the Timberwolves and Rudy Gobert. What I was told yesterday by one NBA source was that the Timberwolves would like to add another big to play Cat at the power forward, because they want to get better defensively, because the Timberwolves feel like they're not playing fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have the athletes that they have, and I think this is why you have to trade D'Angelo Russell, by the way, when you have the athletes that they have, you really need a defensive stopper, and Rudy Gobert gives you that. Granted, he's limited athletically running the floor, Rudy Gobert is, but you don't need him necessarily to do that when you have the Ants and the Cats and
there's a ton of
Malik
athleticism
Beasleys
there.
and the Patrick Beverleys. And I mean, I think that team becomes exponentially better defensively, and I think they know that's what they need. And again, I also think this is why you have this kind of demand for Rudy Gobert, because I think there's a lot of teams out there who realize how good he is defensively, and they realize that your path to a championship is Boston stopping everybody in the East and then Golden State stopping Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Those series were won on defense, if we're being totally honest. Now, was Steph amazing? Yes, he was. But what happened when you got into the NBA Finals with Boston? Jason Tatum couldn't get his shot. And I think when you're seeing Clay and Dre and Steph and certainly Andrew Wiggins, I thought played in a really incredible role defensively in those series. You see that those teams really have the ability to ratchet up the defense. And right now, teams like Minnesota, teams certainly like Chicago, don't have the ability to turn up that defense. And I think the Jazz certainly don't have the ability to turn up that defense, which is why Dallas went on and the Jazz went home.
Yeah.
So I think there's quite a bit of demand for Rudy Gobert around the league. Austin, I think that's a very, very good question. James Knight says you need to go through the entire roster and rate their worth. Agree. Jesus Christ destroys atheism.
I'm screwed.
Rudy go where? Rudy here. Rudy go there. Sam, I am. Green eggs and ham. Joe Barajas Wilson says, what if we traded Rudy for other players and pursued Wiggins and go smaller? Well, the problem with that is Golden State has to be willing to part with Andrew Wiggins, and right now they are going to extend him. They're not going to trade him.
Yeah.
I think, and we talked about this last week.
Oh, epic debate.
I think they're going to wind up trading Klay Thompson. That's what I think. And I understand they just had this parade and we won championships, 4-8. Your mom, my dad, everybody's happy.
I got a lot of that's tough.
We got that bread, right?
Dude.
But at some point, your balls tighten up a little bit. Even if you're the Lake Cubs, your balls tighten up a little bit when you start writing checks at that level of luxury tax.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Right? I mean, your balls are going to tighten.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any doubt that the Golden State Warriors are going to wind up trading
dude,
Klay.
I just have a tough time. I don't disagree about the money, but man, I have a tough time reading the headline, Golden State Warriors trade Klay Thompson to whoever. I have a real tough time with that.
I think he'd be one that would wind up on the Lakers. Because I was also told a couple of weeks ago that the Lakers would like nothing more than to add Klay and Devin Booker. And if they were able to do that, my God.
I mean, that's a special opportunity. I agree. But man, isn't Klay like, yeah, I don't know. I just view Klay as a one-team guy, bro. Like he is a splash bro. Like that is his thing.
Listen, his dad is Michael Thompson, the Laker legend. Like, I just don't.
I guess, man. I guess.
You really think they wouldn't trade Klay Thompson?
It better be like.
I think they would trade Klay. I think they
would have to give up to get Klay Thompson would be ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that. All right. Make sure you go ahead and click on the subscribe button. If you're here right now, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. We are jettisoning towards 5,000 subs
So we
Yes, I
can
tried to
give
pull this
away
up.
our PlayStation 5.
As I try to pull this up feverishly, but my phone is not cooperating.
Man, we've had some tech problems today.
We have 4,820 subscribers right now.
Let's go.
We are just 180 subscribers away from giving away a PS5 on this show. And by the way, if you're new to the show, huge things popping on this show behind the scenes that we cannot wait to talk to you about. And over the next few weeks, I think you're going to see, that the show has, the look and feel of the show has changed quite a bit, although you still have Kevin Durant over Jake's shoulder.
I mean, come on. This guy, I just, I need to caress his face like every day. Yeah.
Daddy!
You know what I mean? Like it just is, it's part of the ritual. Yeah. Like that's part of what we do.
The slurp and splash.
Yeah. Like
Right?
that's part of our, thing.
But things will continue to evolve and change on this show.
This is only day 2 of the new setup, or day 3 of the new setup, by the way.
I would agree.
That's the other thing you have to remember.
I would
So
agree.
we're working on the sound. We've been tweaking in the lab on the cameras, trying to make them a little bit better. Like, there's things
trying
happening.
to make the computer not run out of battery that powers the show.
Terribly vexed.
I'm terribly vexed. Speaking of terribly, people are already sending me Donovan Mitchell's tweet. Donovan Mitchell tweeted like 30 seconds ago, "Say what's real."
It vexes me.
Isn't that a song lyric? That's a song lyric.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Like, are we really that?
Yes, dude. People are really that plugged into Don's Twitter, man.
Come on.
Say what's real.
Anyway,
what does that even mean?
I think it's a song lyric. Speaking of what's real, let's talk about DeShaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns, because I think this is a huge topic. DeShaun Watson yesterday, if you missed it, settled 20 of the 24 pending civil lawsuits against him for sexual misconduct, and all of them are from female masseuses who claim, on one level or another, that DeShaun Watson did something sexually inappropriate, whether that was exposed himself, pleasured himself, for sex on some of them. The rumors and the allegations are salacious.
Yeah.
Yesterday, it was announced that DeShaun Watson settled 20 of the 24 cases, and the lawyer representing all 24 of these people making the accusation says that he would not be surprised if all 24 were settled this week. What that means is DeShaun Watson went deep into his pockets and settled these cases. Now, the question is, what does the National Football League do with DeShaun Watson? And Jake, my question is, what's appropriate? Because I think one full season suspension for 24 at a minimum sexual allegations is probably not enough.
Yeah, I think, I agree it's probably not enough, but I think that that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, I think that DeShaun, something in my eye, dude, this is terrible today.
Bro, you okay?
Yeah, man.
Wait, you okay? You going to make it?
Like, bro.
What, did KD just stop by?
Dude, yeah. I mean, dude, like, man. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, I think that he's going to get a year. I think that it is appropriate. I also think that, if they came out with, a certain number of games, then I think that also works as well. I mean, if you want to say that DeShaun is suspended for, 20 games, let's say, or whatever, including the postseason, I think that's perfectly warranted. But I think that this whole situation needs to come to an end from a league perspective. This isn't just about DeShaun. Like, this is a black eye on the face of the league, and it needs to be handled. And furthermore, Baker Mayfield needs to get traded and put on a new team.
Well,
that needs to happen.
The Cleveland Browns made a huge mistake here. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think when you look at what the Cleveland Browns did with DeShaun Watson, and you look at what the Cleveland Browns did with Baker Mayfield, they forgot that you actually, have to be people to make people like people.
And stuff. And stuff.
This Baker Mayfield situation in Cleveland is a joke. And that you alienated him to this level, which, and if you don't know the story, the Cleveland Browns go out and trade for DeShaun Watson. By all accounts, the relationship with Baker Mayfield was already being tested.
Right.
By all accounts, Baker and the Browns were probably on the way out anyway. Last season, Baker was hurt most of the year, even though he took them back to the playoffs. And I think a lot of people forget just how good Baker Mayfield was for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns knew they needed an upgrade, and we've debated Baker on this show repeatedly. Again, if you just look over Jake's left shoulder this time, you will see Baker's enormous
I'm just
face.
surrounded by amazing dudes. Isn't it great? Like, isn't that just...
You're surrounded by guys who don't win. Anyway,
Okay,
the point is,
okay,
hey now,
right, okay.
All
hey-o.
gas,
Okay.
No break.
Exactly. But the point is, the Cleveland Browns did not execute communication with Baker Mayfield. Now you're in a situation where you traded for a 26-time accused sexual predator.
Jesus.
You made him your starting quarterback. Now he's likely to get suspended for at least one season. And now Baker Mayfield will never play for you again.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
And now you're in a situation where you're going to pay Baker or you're going to trade Baker.
Yeah.
And Jacoby Brissett's going to be your starting quarterback.
Here's the game plan.
Yeah. You're screwed.
Speaking of not winning.
You're screwed.
Yeah, dude.
But as far as the NFL is concerned, I think you have to take him off the field for 2 years. I mean,
Damn,
if
bro.
you have to.
2 years?
26 women. 24 of them filed civil lawsuits against him.
Why don't you just give him a game for each one then? Like,
But do you understand? I mean, I would. Do you understand the history of the NFL here? And by the way, am I the only one? It's not lost on me, and I don't think it's lost on everybody else, by the way. But am I the only one who realizes they're in front of Congress today on this Washington Commanders thing?
yeah.
When Daniel
That's what I'm
Snyder.
saying. The league has all this stuff on its plate, dude.
But
Like, they gotta
Deshaun
handle
Watson's
it.
going to pay the price for that.
Yeah.
Because this Washington Commanders situation very much is crimes against women again. And you have a situation where the Washington football team, not the other
Commanders is such a
team and
crap
stuff
name, dude.
that they named the Commanders and stuff, is now being the owner of that team is refusing to testify in front of Congress because he doesn't want to lie in front of Congress because they're going to ask him if he committed sexual crimes against women during his time as owner of the Washington football team.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
So today you're going to have the commissioner of the National Football League sit in front of Congress and read a prepared statement and accomplish absolutely nothing. Nothing that's going to happen today in front of Congress with Roger Goodale is going to be good. It's going to be bad.
Question.
Yeah, that's going to be bad. And then you're going to suspend DeShaun Watson for an incredible amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to appeal. And it's probably going to be this entire upcoming season he's off the field.
And as you can see, I'm
So-
going through some shit right now.
As a punishment, Deshaun Watson will have missed 2 years. That's the question. That's the argument, Jake, that I think you got to make. Has Deshaun Watson already served 1 year of a suspension?
No, not in this case. I don't think that, because I think the point you've been making about this is spot on. They've been paying him. They've been continuing to pay him. And I think that the difference is like when you're on administrative leave and you're getting the paycheck, nobody views that as an actual suspension because you're still getting paid. I mean, what's really changed for Deshaun Watson? Because he's still getting paid. He's still working out. Obviously, he was at minicamp and everything. Like he's done all the summer activities. So nothing's really changed. I think the only thing that Deshaun's really paid is just that his image has just been taken to the dump. I mean, rightfully so, of course. So that's why I say, like, I don't think it can be a retroactive thing. I think that the NFL's got to make a statement with this, just like they did all those years ago with the Ray Rice situation and Zeke and Greg Hardy. Like, you got to make a statement here. And I think that just simply saying, hey, Deshaun's going to get suspended 2 years, that's even hard for me to say because it just feels so heavy. But then when you kind of get into it, you're like, yeah, I guess a game for each one of these women is suitable, you know? So if it is 2 years, it is what it is. You're not getting paid for 2 years. Hope you save some money, you know? Like that's what you did.
But again, I ask you, how is this any different than Trevor Bauer? Now, here's why it's different.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people are gonna wonder about this, and a lot of people I think should wonder about this. I think it's different because Trevor Bauer was not charged criminally. Trevor Bauer, the LA Dodger pitcher, who had rough, brutal, violent sex with a San Diego Padre fan, went and stood his ground. He went through the criminal case. He went through the criminal investigation. They went to court on a restraining order. She tried to file a civil lawsuit, and she lost at every turn. And Trevor Bauer has still been suspended 2 years by Major League Baseball.
Hey, guys.
Which I think is an absolute travesty.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
In my opinion, I think Trevor Bauer absolutely got railroaded by Major League Baseball. He's already had his appeal, and hopefully we're going to hear about that soon. But here's the difference. Deshaun Watson was accused by 26 women. 26 women. 24 filed civil lawsuits against him. Now, it doesn't look like there will be criminal charges from any of these. he settled out of court. But the NFL has an image problem when it comes to violence against women. And I think the issue is they can't give DeShaun Watson a time served penalty.
I'm going to say this again.
They can't give him no criminal charges. Okay, you're free to go. Well, because actually you settled. And once you settle, whether you want it to be or not, you kind of admitted guilt.
Yes.
Right? You've admitted guilt. And I don't think there's any way around that. And that's why now, I don't necessarily agree with what Trevor Bauer did. I'm not the guy that brutalizes women or chokes them or does whatever Trevor Bauer did.
Yeah.
That's not me. But he fought for what he believed in. And he had text messages. He had it in writing. He went all the way. DeShaun Watson settled. And by all accounts, we're never going to see this. Oh, I've got evidence and I'm innocent. Where's the evidence, man?
Yeah.
And my point is, now you settled, DeShaun, and now I think you look like you're guilty.
Yep.
And I think the NFL, knowing the NFL the way I do, I've covered that league a long time, I think the NFL is going to suspend him for multiple years.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that. I don't know what else you do. Jesus Christ destroys atheism, says Roger Goodale.
Roger Goodale.
That's exactly right. James Knight says, I think I might go drop off the Browns now. Get it? What the Browns,
you guys see what he did there? Drop the Browns off at the Super Bowl, that type of situation.
He also said, by the way, he also said you got pink eye from your pillow.
Well, you know, Costas-eye happens.
I mean, it certainly does.
Yeah.
Gabe Ledley says #free Bauer.
Seriously.
Yeah. BB says, yeah, sure. 26 women that give massages, then sex for money would never try to get money for sure. I mean, the problem I have with that, BB, is it's 26 women.
Yeah. It's
not one. Who all don't know each other, that all have very similar allegations against him. Now, I'd be more looking at the lawyer than I would the women.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. One Round Left says, it's a shame so many people defend a predator like DeShaun Watson. Totally agree. James Knight says that's not a good look for MLB, but it's morally despicable. Oh, totally. Absolutely. Ruff's official, good morning. He says the NFL went after John Gruden real quick, but takes their time with Watson. I wonder why. Well, because Deshaun Watson throws a football.
Well, and I think that the Gruden stuff was pretty clean cut. Like the Deshaun stuff is very murky. This has always been my issue with the NFL. Yeah, we want to wait till the process plays out. We want to let the image of the league. We want to let the image of the league just get trashed, and then we want to react to it. And that's always been my problem. It should be a very simple thing, and this is the leg they've been standing on. It's he violated the personal code of conduct policy, and that's why they're what's happening.
Juul cigarettes, the e-cigarette company, is going to be banned by the FDA today.
Okay.
Well, hello, vaping's huge in this state. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I should stop.
No, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying, is that I don't know. I don't vape at all. Is that a big deal?
Yeah. Juul cigarette or Juul e-cigarettes are massive. It's one of the biggest brands.
Oh, okay.
It's absolutely one of the biggest brands. No doubt about it. All right, let's switch gears real quick because I think this is a huge story. LIV Golf buys another big name, and this time it is Brooks Koepka.
Hey, guys.
And Brooks Koepka now becomes the latest Saudi stooge. Brooks Koepka, it is not official, but, I mean, everybody and their brothers reporting it. Brooks Koepka looks like he signed a deal with LIV Golf. He has quit the PGA Tour. He has withdrawn from the PGA Tour event this week. And one of the most interesting things and this is just my opinion, one of the most interesting things here is Brooks Koepka hates golf. He said that. I think this is, again, Dustin Johnson. This is a money grab, so he doesn't have to play golf anymore, Jake.
Yeah, I think it's precisely what it is. I think that's what all these guys are doing. And add him to the list. Put him on the black book. He's no longer a good person, in my opinion. I think that I'm going to stay on this. I'll die on this hill. Happy to be an asshole about it. Like, you are taking Saudi money. You have blood on your hands. And I think it's just completely inappropriate and the wrong thing to be doing. You can't tell me that these guys, like, if you're a professional golfer, think about it. Even if you're like 50th, even if you miss the damn cut, once or twice a year, even if you're just average, you're a millionaire. Do we understand that? These guys have money. I get it. They want the $150 million payday. I get it. But Brooks Koepka's won majors. Brooks Koepka is a complete savage out on the course, and you still feel the need to go and play for a tournament that has no cuts, that's 3 days. You're not playing for anything, dude. Like, what are you playing for? Oh, that's right. Money. There's no balls to the tournament. That's my problem with these guys. Outside of what happened to Jamal Khashoggi, outside of the fact that the Saudis are despicable human beings, you know? So that's why I say, like, just add him to the list, bro. Like, add him to the
Saudi
list.
stooge.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Brooks Koepka is a massive Saudi stooge now, but the PGA Tour made significant changes, by the way, yesterday, announcing that they are going to implement an 8-tournament field limited to the top 50 players in the FedEx Cup standings from the previous season, and that the minimum purse for each tournament will be $20 million. So the paydays are going up, and the PGA Tour essentially has been forced to change and grow. Maybe LIV Golf is having the effect that a lot of golfers wanted it to have, which is more money and more prestige coming to PGA Tour players.
Yeah.
Either way, if you went and played on the LIV Golf Tour, you're a piece of crap. And any way that you slice it, you're not very good at what you do. And any way you slice it, the Saudis are detestable human beings that cut people's heads off and chop up bodies and carrying them out of embassies and consulates in bags.
He's an assassin.
If you went and played for LIV Golf, you're a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And Brooks Koepka, you were already kind of a questionable dude. And I think this kind of cements his legacy.
Agreed.
I really do.
Completely agreed.
Speaking of being a questionable dude.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because this guy is fascinating to me. Not only is he in trouble on what seems like a day-to-day and a weekly basis, but my man just can't stay out of his own way, whether it's commenting on Twitter, whether it is touting crypto a month before it crashed and damn near went below 20,000 again yesterday, whether it is Tesla being in major trouble and he having to scheme behind the scenes, allegedly, to force people to resign by having them come back to the office, and whether it is now his daughter who went to court and filed a motion that included statements that she no longer wants to be related to Elon Musk and that she is essentially doing everything she can do to wipe his name and legacy off of her charts. Now, you're not going to be able to do that. DNA don't lie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this guy just seems, every single day there seems to be a new story about how difficult Elon Musk's life is.
Yeah, I think on some level it does come with the territory, though. Like, when you're a billionaire and you've done what he's done, like, it comes with the territory. And I think that Elon has plans and strategies that he's trying to execute, but at the same time, a lot of those plans and strategies come with a lot of heartburn, as I like to say. They come with a lot of hate, a lot of, hey, what is Elon doing? Like, one of your things that you've been saying is, does he actually want to buy Twitter? Like, with the way he's kind of gone about it. And I think when you go about it that way, there's going to be questions asked. And so, you know, when you get to that level, you're going to go one of two ways as far as your family's concerned. You're going to take care of them, and you're going to feed them financially for the rest of their lives, and you're going to be that kind of guy, which I think he should be, frankly, when you get to that level. But he's not gone that way. He doesn't have a great relationship with his daughter, obviously, and his family. And, like, it's just not a great situation. And the biggest thing is, I think money changes people. And I think Elon has prioritized his business over, you know, his family. And that is troubling. I think that's the hard part about it. So we'll see. But I think as far as him constantly being in trouble and constantly having to fight and sort of scheme through things, I think that's the bet he makes when he operates the way he does. That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how he goes forward, because I think Elon Musk had the world in the palm of his hands. And I think he's another guy. Like, there was that story we talked about the other day with these athletes, Saquon Barkley, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh my God.
Who have lost their entire fortunes in crypto. Because remember, how did Trevor Lawrence get paid? He got paid in Bitcoin. And Saquon Barkley took not a little bit of, not some of, not most of, all of his endorsement money and put it into crypto. And they have lost millions, tens of millions. Saquon Barkley, by some accounts, had as much as $15 million in endorsement money tied up in crypto.
Yeah, if you're Trevor Lawrence, what are you doing, bro?
You're trying to make more money because Trevor Lawrence lost his entire signing bonus in first-year contract to crypto. And all of that money that Saquon Barkley invested in Bitcoin is now worth only $5 million. And that's if he cashed out on Friday. So it's
and
continued
he's a guy that's
to fall.
got some proving to do, I feel like.
Yeah. The money for these guys is not endless. The window to make money is very small.
Yeah.
It is very slim.
Yeah.
And it is really interesting to me to see the way that crypto has debilitated people who were very clearly out there as crypto kings, guys like Elon Musk, who had a massive amount. I mean, I want to say he had $150 million or something like that from Tesla invested in Bitcoin.
That's so much.
They were one of the main people to begin taking Bitcoin and crypto as payment for cars.
Bro.
Elon Musk has taken a beating in the crypto crash. And to see like NASA coming out this week saying that they are terrified that SpaceX is going to destroy the route to the International Space Station. And one of the main concerns they have is that Elon Musk is unfocused and that he has not got his eye on the ball. And they are now wondering whether SpaceX is their best vendor for transporting astronauts from Earth to the International Space Station.
Yeah.
And I did not know this, but apparently if a rocket explodes on that route in space, they have to come up with a way to move the space station and create a new route. And apparently there's window. I don't know shit about space, to be honest with you.
You don't have go to space for free money.
Yeah, but when you launch a rocket into space, it has to be at an exact time to make an exact window through the atmosphere to get to your endpoint at the International Space Station. And if a rocket explodes or crashes up, I guess, above the Earth's atmosphere, that route is forever destroyed.
And it's going to go into crisis lockdown mode here at the house.
That's incredible to me. Yet we have space junk and satellites that have been up there floating around for decades. Like it's crazy to me. And this is what Elon Musk is risking. And I don't know. I guess his reputation is just
It is. I mean, that's
good.
just how it goes, like when you operate the way he operates. Again, I mean, you have to prioritize your relationships or else they're going to fall apart. And clearly they are.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's interesting. I just think that it's one of those things where you have to, I don't know, you have to differentiate. If you're putting money in Bitcoin, if you're like, again, and I can just tell the story that Mrs. Monty and I have told on this show in the past, and that is that our money guy wanted to invest heavily in Tesla.
Yeah.
And we specifically told him, I don't want to do that. We had an extra sum of money that we were using to build our portfolio. This is before all hell broke loose and Uncle Joe turned up the gas prices.
Right, with the dial that's on his desk.
He's got a gas price dial on his desk and stuff.
Right.
Right. But I mean, I just look at Elon, and the thing that comes to my mind is I've got money invested in this guy, and I'm not happy to say that I've got money invested in this guy. I'm not terribly thrilled that he's controlling a large part of my personal portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating as hell. I think that Elon is somebody who ultimately this is a game changer in money globally speaking. What he does, the ripples of that have huge effects across economies. And I think that sometimes these guys just want to go and do whatever the hell they want to do, like buy Twitter. Like buying Twitter is just such a fringe thing for a guy like Elon Musk. There was no reason to do it, in my opinion, other than he just wanted to get into politics on some level.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, good morning, Mrs. Monty. Wow, that is super zoomed in.
Whoa.
Hey, baby.
Whoa.
There she is. Mrs. Monty makes her morning appearance on the show.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
There we go.
What's the shirt say today? Confidence is a habit, not a trait. Huh. Where did we pick up that phrase? Thank you very much.
It's Karamo from Queer Eye.
No, it's not. It's my saying. Anyway, how you feel about your boy Elon Musk, Mrs. Monty?
Well, I would like to also add in that the daughter that is disowning him is likely not his only child, seeing as he froze embryos with Amber Heard. And she had that, a surrogate had that baby. So, Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, man.
It is concerning to hear NASA or stories that NASA is saying that this could be a tragedy. It's a huge success story. Elon Musk was the first commercial builder to really actually build a rocket and a system that could take not only cargo but people to space and do it in a more cost-effective way than our own government could. And now they're starting to lose it. I do think he is stretched way too thin, and that is a problem that people who are like Elon, who just have to keep they're so driven, they are so obsessed with work, and that's how they define their success, that they end up crushing themselves. The move to require all executives back in the office, well, hey, thanks, Elon, because, well, I know a lot of other companies that'll hire those people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honest to God, that's true. I think guys like Elon Musk are so important to our economy. I mean, those guys, consumer sentiment and investor sentiment. And to me, and I know we talk about this a lot, but I don't think Joe Biden has any influence and I shouldn't say influence. I don't think he has any ability to change things like consumer sentiment. I just don't. I think so many people, that's why I say Wall Street's almost meaningless to the average Joe. Guys like us, I mean, we have so little money. We're not even a drop of water in an ocean. We're not even, right? I just think that guys like Elon Musk push market people, push consumer sentiment, push investor sentiment. That to me is more compelling. Yeah. The electric car industry, supply and demand.
He got distracted with Twitter. I'm telling you, that.
I agree, 100%.
Got distracted, bro.
100%, he did.
The other thing I'll say is that influencers, they're called influencers because that's exactly what they do. So if you have enough influence, whether that be followers or money, that you can actually guide what people are doing, and that's what crypto tried to do. Earlier this year, they tried to put a whole bunch of celebrities into it to try to get everybody to invest because they knew they were going to fall down the mountain.
Yeah.
And it has continued to fall. Their push with all the marketing and advertising just didn't quite work out because I think people were already seeing that, it's not a real stable investment.
Yeah. And I think, the other thing that we've talked a lot about, obviously, is that, we get into these conversations about money, and we generally, in the grand scheme of things, we just have very little control over anything money.
Yeah.
But the things that we have control over are putting milk in a bowl first instead of putting cereal in a bowl.
We're getting somewhere.
And this topic is maddening to me.
It's a lie.
Why do you say it's a lie? What do you mean?
It's a falsehood. No one does that. Literally no one. Someone just said that to try and incense everyone on Twitter.
What?
No one pours milk first into the bowl.
Are we clear on that?
Are you sure? What do you mean no one pours milk into the bowl first?
No. It's like putting your shoe on before your sock.
I don't disagree with that, actually. I have never put milk in the bowl before cereal.
I saw this on Twitter yesterday, and I just thought it was classic. I don't do that either. I'm always cereal then milk, So I don't know. Is there anybody in the comments right now who does milk then cereal? Anybody?
There's no way.
Come on, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is the hot dog sandwich conversation. This is
a hot dog is a sandwich.
Okay, here we go.
But you don't put the bun inside the hot dog.
What do you?
It vexes me.
See, I try. People, this is what I deal with on a daily basis.
Brilliance. You deal with brilliance every day.
Hot dogs are absolutely a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's meat. It is meat between two pieces of bread. And then I'm going to get this jamoke over here telling me, no, it's not. It's not a sandwich. It's a hot dog.
Mac and cheese is pasta.
Okay.
Did somebody say it wasn't? Was that
Why would you bring
mac
this
and
up?
cheese? Did mac and cheese get thrown into another thing?
Wait, I want to explain to you who Mrs. Monty is.
Yeah.
Because this communist is the same person. Mrs. Monty is the same person who's like, oh, there's French fries on a plate. Okay, get the entire bottle of ketchup and smother it, and then put hot sauce and all kinds of shit on top of your French fries, because then they're not French fries anymore. Yeah, now they're French fry nachos, and they're much better that way.
They're loaded fries.
You are the kind of person who pours ketchup all over her French fries instead of dipping.
That's not always true. The last time that we had tater tots or anything, I had it in a bowl. It's not always true. If you're at a restaurant and you got a plate of fries, you can pour the ketchup on them. But
you're pissing me off now.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me. And you need to own this. You are the person who's like, oh, Chulo over there. There's hot sauce. There's hot sauce.
Hot sauce on everything.
Oh, yeah. All over the French fries. Oh, my boyfriend's hungry. Tough shit, dude. I'm putting hot sauce on top of everything.
You're so fucked.
What's the problem? Red pepper goes on pizza. Hot sauce goes on most other things.
Wow.
Comment section.
Wow.
What do the comments have to say?
Wow.
I need some
I
thoughts.
don't know who you are anymore.
I need some thoughts.
I don't know who you are anymore. Let's see. Alex Chacon says that's psycho behavior. Fat Jesus says that's wipe before you poop. Exactly.
Wow.
Why would you put milk?
Milk before cereal is wipe before you poop.
Whoa.
Oh, God. Here we go.
What kind
BB
of
says
people?
hot dogs are not a sandwich. No.
They are a sandwich.
Yes, they are. Tanner says I probably put milk in before cereal once when I was little. I swore I would never do it again.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, because you're all grown up, Tanner.
Yeah.
No one puts milk before
Snuka
cereal.
says I only have milk first for my second bowl. Okay. On the refill portion
On
of
the
program.
refill, that's different.
That's different.
Yeah, you're not going to pour out the milk and then pour new milk in. I mean, that's like
Tanner says,
Yeah.
oh boy, second show in a row that Mrs. Monty is taking L's. Yeah. Get used to it. It's been tomorrow's our
what the
20.
hell did she
By
take
the
an
way,
L for yesterday?
well, I mean, she takes an L every day. We've been married for 21 years tomorrow. I mean, she takes an L every day. Justin Salas, $4.99, $4.99 tip.
Thank you.
Cheapskate.
Hey,
First
yo.
my other penny.
Hey,
No, I'm
yo.
kidding. He says milk is always first. If you put milk first, it keeps the cereal crunchy longer.
No, dude, no.
No,
Wow.
no,
Wow.
No.
There's something
How?
wrong there.
How? Alex Chacon says hot sauce goes on everything. SLCP shooter says a hot dog is a taco. Oh.
Is a taco a sandwich?
Oh.
Dude, come on.
Oh. Is a taco a sandwich?
It's not.
Jeremy
I just
Bolton
wanted to throw
says,
that out.
you don't think a taco is a sandwich? Why would you throw that out there then?
Just to be salacious because someone else said it.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Jeremy Bolton says, wait, my bad. I bet Alex Caruso puts the milk in first. He probably does, and then he wrings out the sweat from his headband.
Ew.
Hey, whoever says let's go Burger King for a sandwich is a sandwich, no, not a burger.
Huh? Dude, what?
Wait, yeah, what?
Hey, whoever says let's go to Burger King for a sandwich, not a burger. Well, a burger is a
Okay,
sandwich.
But I will say,
But now this is not the proper nomenclature.
The best item that I don't really eat anymore from Burger King is their breaded chicken sandwich thing.
Yes, the
that
chicken
thing is freaking
the
amazing.
chicken
The
It's
Sando.
full
It's like
of MSG
Yes.
and slathered with like mayo, and it is so good.
Yeah, you feel yourself having a heart attack when you order that.
Oh,
sandwich.
yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
heard my arteries clog a little bit more just because
Yeah.
it's so deep.
John
fried.
Jackson says, how long does it take Justin Salas to eat a bowl of cereal?
Dude.
I don't know. I do not know. Return that man's $4.99. LOL. Justin Salas says, don't knock milk first until you try it. God, Justin, you're amazing. BB says, I agree with that one. Yeah. I don't know. Like the hot dog sandwich. What are some other food quirks real quick? Okay. Dipping. Do you dip your fries? Because I think you have to dip your fries. Right?
Dipping
Like
fries is good.
Where are we at
No,
on fry
here's-
sauce?
Savage
oh God.
is dipping your chips in ranch.
Well,
Love it. I love
but
that.
wait,
Oh.
no, there's nothing wrong with that. Tortilla chips in ranch.
Chips with a half bowl of ranch at
Oh,
Chili's
my
back in
God.
the day was
Yes,
incredible.
but you're
Absolutely
also
incredible.
you are also the sadist who used to put ketchup on Lay's potato
Yes,
chips.
as a kid I did that.
Oh,
as a
that's
kid, that was a
disgusting.
thing. That was a thing.
But what about like potato chips in a sandwich?
No.
Like inside the sandwich? Oh, it's so good. Ruffles with ridges. Oh, Yes.
I can't say that I've ever done it, but I'm not turned off by the idea of it. So.
Yeah. So are you a dipper or a smasher of French fries? Like, do you cover the fries in ketchup or dip them?
Most times I dip, dude. I don't know where you get this idea
want a
that I
commitment.
always smother.
I want a commitment.
Why can't I have flexibility with my French fries?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else because you should do more yoga. Anyway, the point is, I think all I'm saying is that you are known as the person who will cover an entire plate of French fries. You don't do that. Don't look quizzically like that. You haven't done that.
When?
Too often. That's when.
Oh.
Too often.
When?
Sorry if you're offended by
Recently?
No, when?
I can't remember the last time, but you're telling me you don't do that.
Right. You can't remember the last time, but yet you're accusing me.
Specifically, I can't remember the last time.
Yeah.
But you're saying you don't do that.
There hasn't been, I can't even remember the last time. It's been that long.
Well, which is probably good because we shouldn't be doing that.
Okay.
Other food quirks. French fries inside of a burrito.
That's an option.
Bomb.
Yeah,
I love
totally
that.
But the execution's got to be good.
It has
I don't
to be
want
right.
soggy fries in my
Nope.
burrito.
Yeah,
Okay.
crispy.
So,
yeah.
the definitive one. What will you not put ranch on? I will not put ranch on. There's one thing in particular I will not put ranch on.
ranch on.
Cereal?
Yeah, like
No,
obvious stuff
come
like that.
Oh. Did I make anybody gag?
Ranch instead of milk, you just use ranch. Lucky Charms and ranch. I will not put ranch on.
I don't have it. What do you?
Eggs or breakfast food. I will not put and this is the other thing that pisses me off that some certain people, Mrs. Monty. The next time Mrs. Monty puts ketchup on eggs, the next time Mrs. Monty puts ketchup on hash browns.
Hot sauce I can get down with, but not ketchup.
I don't put ketchup on eggs.
You have to.
I have never. I am specific with keeping syrup off of my eggs, ketchup off of my eggs. Hell no.
She's always been
anti-syrup. I do not like having syrup on something that is savory.
Wait. You're also the person who's like, okay, I have a whole stack of buttermilk pancakes here. 1 drop of syrup. Not a drop more. Just 1 little drop.
Because that's how I like them. You will literally drown. You'll use half a bottle of maple.
Stop it.
That is true. An entire cup.
Stop creating rumors. I use the entire bottle, not half the bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
The entire bottle.
You would like to have maple soup with pancake croutons.
Cereal soup. Hey, Mom, it's cereal soup. Yes, I like a lot of syrup on my pancakes. What's wrong with that?
But see, you had the sourdough thing the other day.
Yeah, at the Silver Fork Lodge.
That wasn't really good.
At the Silver Fork Lodge, I'm not going to have sourdough pancakes again.
That was interesting, but
I will
no,
not.
I'm good.
No.
I will not.
No.
John Jackson said, I heard a person that referred pizza as an open sandwich.
Oh, stop. Get the hell out of here, bro.
No. Lovell says the carcass race can't stay in the sun for 3 days straight. But isn't the sun natural?
What are we talking about?
I have no idea.
Bro.
Greg Hawkins says, just got home from my new movie premiere. Sorry, I came in literally at the last minute. Hey, Greg Hawkins, you actor stud.
Is this Greg Hawkins' first show since we had the new setup?
I think it might be.
Welcome back, Greg.
BB says, you're making me hungry. Ketchup on eggs. Whoa.
But ketchup on hash browns. You do that
Ketchup
all the
on
time.
eggs with some mustard?
On hash browns.
No.
Okay, who brought mustard into the breakfast conversation?
No. Well, I'm not. No mustard in the breakfast conversation. Justin South says, I won't put ranch on pretty much everything. Okay, so Justin, wings.
Have to.
Ranch or blue cheese? Because we walked into Ruth's Chris the other night, and I made my feelings known.
Yeah.
No blue cheese on anything.
Ever.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Even if there's a fire.
Yeah.
I like blue cheese, but
see,
why?
And you're the kind of snob that'd be like, "Oh, call it Roquefort, please." That's.
Hey, look here, man.
Mrs. Monty's also the kind of person who's like, "Oh, you're getting wings? Make sure, what vegetables are we going to get with those wings?"
Hell yeah.
No. The only question that matters with wings is drums or flats.
Physiologically, it's a non-starter.
I don't
you
eat
know.
wings.
Mustard is no calories and amazing, BB says. No, it's not.
Not
That's
on breakfast, though. Why are you going to put that on your breakfast?
That's a lie.
No.
Cam Harrison, you commie. He says wings with blue cheese.
Get the hell out of here.
No.
Get the hell out of here, bro.
Pack everything up. We're out
No,
of here.
dude,
No.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, Greg Hawkins. He says ranch is disgusting.
Wow. Wow.
No.
Greg.
Oh, come on, Chacon. He says also flats. No. No. This is a man show. We do drums on this show.
Flats.
John Jackson says blue cheese smells like throw up. Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Tanner Plummer says no blue cheese ever. There's Karen Monteminer. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Oh.
Can I speak to your manager about your ranch dressing? Jeremy Bolton says. Cam Harrison says LOL. And the final comment of the day is, on a side note, applied for a job at the Yelpatory. Are we about to be co-workers?
Who did that?
Wow. Justin Solis applying for a job at the Yelpatory. Well.
Really great benefits. I mean, can't complain about that.
That is
And
very
the bread,
true.
dude. The bread is.
Yeah, you should have told me that, Justin.
Yeah,
I could have got you hired, and then maybe
Yeah, and then we could have
gotten a
made
bonus.
we could have made money off of you, you know. But you know, it is what it is. It's fine.
Speaking
Sounds
of the
good.
Yelpatory, we got to go. Hey, make sure you give us a thumbs up if you're here right now, please. We really appreciate that thumbs up and a like. Yeah, exactly, Mrs. Monty. Thank you for that. Give us a thumbs up and a like. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is NBA Draft Day. We'll have, of course, the very latest on the Utah Jazz and their efforts to trade Rudy Gobert and get back into the draft. That tomorrow as well. Of course, Jake will be naked on the show tomorrow.
All right.
Because we're going to be talking about Chet Holmgren.
Obviously, yeah.
So get the ranch dressing out.
Yeah.
Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
I love you, Chet. Goodbye, Jake.